Hey guys, my name is Eric, and today I'm going to be talking about the HUXWRX Flow 556 Titanium or the TI. Let's go ahead and roll the intro. Hey guys, thanks for checking out another HatchetCast episode, and today I'm going to be doing a review on the HUXWRX Flow 556 Ti from HUXWRX Safety Co. If you haven't already, make sure you guys go hit the like and the subscribe button. Also, if you have a HUXWRX can and you like it, or you have an OSS or a Ventum or some other can, let me know your experiences below. I'd love to hear from you guys. It's a great way for other people to get your knowledge, because there's a lot of knowledge in this community. And if you get something out of this video, please share it with a friend or a family member. It's a great way to organically help out the channel. Another great free way to help out the channel is to go check out our website, where we have a guns and gadgets build list. A ton of you guys have been saying, hey, Eric, what's the part on this? And where can I find this type of trigger? Or what type of stock do you use? Or what type of barrel, et cetera, et cetera. And so what that does is allows you to find that part on the guns and gadgets build list. And these are all builds that I have used in other videos or personal builds that I run. So if you see a build that you like maybe Eric's 14.5 GPR build alpha, you can find every single part on that list and just click it. And I took all the work out of it for you, so that way it's easy for you to find. And it's a great way to help out the channel, especially with the companies that support the channel and the work that we do here. So last but not least, also we have a training schedule up. So if you want to train with us, make sure you go check out the 2024 calendar. We also have the 556 gas gun match coming up in Holt, Florida in December on the 8th. And a great thing is there's also going to be guns that are going to be raffled off as a prize. So just for showing up, you have a chance at possibly winning something really cool. And it's a great way to put your training to the test. Go check it out. You can sign up for it on Practice Score, or go check the website for the link. So without further ado, let's jump into the HUXWRX Flow 556 Ti. So you guys, for those who've been on the channel with us before, you remember that we did a video on the HUXWRX Flow 556K a while back. That suppressor, we put a ton of ammo through it. And one of the things that we did is we made sure that we didn't clean that one to see how long would it last. Well, I can tell you that it has lasted thousands and thousands of rounds. In fact, it's probably north of 15,000 rounds, almost over 20 most likely now. But with that being said, the HUXWRX Flow 556K that we got before was our first introduction to flow-through technology, and that has been made really famous by the company HUXWRX Safety Company, or Safety Co. Now, the flow allows a lot of gases to kind of go in a very unorthodox way through the suppressor to kind of relieve a lot of that back pressure and decrease the bolt speed that you have when you're shooting suppressed. So if you've been running a suppressor, or for guys who've run suppressed before, if I have a suppressor on the end of my rifle, I'm increasing back pressure, which is then going to increase the bolt speed, which means I'm going to have more recoil, more gas. It's going to be a lot harsher on the parts, especially if my gun is already overgassed without a suppressor. So whenever we started running HUXWRX cans, it was kind of impressive at the fact that we had no increase in bolt speed. So for example, I would have, if I had my gun unsuppressed and I would fire, I would look at the ejection pattern on the shell casing, and usually I like to have it come out at 4 o'clock. Well, when I'm running a HUXWRX can, it comes out at 4 o'clock, whereas traditionally with another suppressor or a traditional suppressor with normal baffles, it'll probably come out at like 2 o'clock, if it's overgassed, 1 o'clock. So what's really neat about that is it decreases the amount of back pressure and that you have inside that chamber. Now, before I get too deep into this, I want to talk about the specs, because I know you guys are probably wondering, Eric, how much does this thing cost? All right, so I'm on HUXWRX website. And the MSRP for this is $16.23. Obviously, if you get your tax stamp, that's an additional $200. Hopefully that goes away in this next upcoming year because of you know, monumental things that have happened in our country. But right now, as it stands today, $1,623, and you know, it's a little bit pricey for a suppressor. A lot of your traditional suppressors that you can buy off the market is, you know, around that $1,000 mark, maybe less. So the question is what are the pros that command this type of price? It's still not as expensive as like a Surefire RC3, but one of the things that really stuck out to me was specifically the weight. This thing is 11.4 ounces. To put that in perspective, I have my suppressor here, and I've got my Ear Pro, and it's almost, I'd say, a little bit lighter than my ear protection. Good.
Oh my gosh, it doesn't even, it feels like it's broken. Is it the can making it that soft?
So what's really nice about having a super lightweight can is whenever you're running suppressed, especially for those who've run suppressed for a long time, is eventually the weight on the end of that barrel gets really annoying. So having, you know, no suppressor makes the gun a lot more maneuverable. It makes it a lot lighter, makes the gun more balanced. And so, you know, sometimes I'll be like, man, I just need a break from suppressed. I want to maneuver the gun fast. I don't want to have the extra weight, the back pressure of the gas in my face, so I'm just going to run unsuppressed. And honestly, for guys who've been shooting for a long time, you usually tend to shoot more unsuppressed than you do suppressed. And so that's something that I've seen a lot of shooters, myself included, start trending towards. One, because of health issues. You get all that gas in your face. You get a lot of that carbon that you're eating, all that, you know, the chemicals from the CLP or the lube. You're also inhaling that as you're shooting. And that's actually, especially for those who shoot indoors, is causing a lot of health problems. I know the military, especially in the special operations community that primarily shoots suppressed, and now we're probably going to see it in the Marine Corps, is there's a lot of health problems in regards to your breathing because of shooting suppressed in the house or an enclosed environment all the time. So it's just one of those things, especially as a lefty. I'm a southpaw shooter. My face is right by that gas port, so I'm eating all that gas. I'm eating all that carbon, especially if I have an overgas gun with a suppressor on it. So one of the things that I'm always looking for in a rifle and also a suppressor is how much can I lessen that misery of all that gas in my face by having a very well-regulated rifle, a very well-built rifle that's tuned perfectly, and also a suppressor that has a little bit of bleed off on the end, so that way it's not a massive amount of back pressure and bolt speed back at the chamber. So one of the things also we got here for the length, this is not the K version, but the length is 6.8 inches and the diameter is 1.8 inches. So it's a little bit more fat, it's a little bit rounder than a traditional can, but just a little bit, not a lot. And they also do have it in FDE. Now they do offer a limited liable lifetime warranty for this, especially for all the factory defects. And what's crazy about the HUXWRX cans, specifically with the Flow 556 and their 762s, is this thing is fully 3D printed, and the TI stands for titanium. So it's super durable, extremely lightweight, and it is made out of 17.4 stainless steel and grade 5 titanium to be more efficient. So the other thing also is it has a flow-through technology. Now, HUXWRX has actually patented that, where it's flow-through. It's a registered trademark for them. But it's called the OSS flow-through technology, and eliminates blowback and toxic gas that can affect weapon system performance and shooter health. Especially this. Now the K, I've got a little bit more back pressure because it is still flow-through, but unlike this can specifically, I was talking to Ben from Wiseman Company, and I had him shoot my Griffin armament.
I feel like this should be like built into a precision gun.
Mark II CQB, it's an 11.5 SBR, and he shot it with the suppressor on there. And he was like, dude, it is so light recoiling. There is no gas. The bolt speed is perfect. The ejection pattern is at 4 o'clock. It's ridiculous. And it's so lightweight when I have it on the end of the rifle, it feels like I'm running no can. Super, super lightweight. I've also been able to run a lot of rounds through this in terms of seeing how fast it can heat up and how much spark and how much maybe gas buildup I get, and it's not a lot of gas buildup. So that is so nice, especially for myself where I've been blessed to be able to shoot a lot. One, for my health, but two, also for performance. If I want to get a faster follow-up shot, I want to be able to get my sight to settle back on target very, very quickly. Having a less recoiling system is going to allow you for faster follow-up shots. So this thing has been absolutely incredible. Now, before I continue on, I want to talk about our sponsor real quick, Renewal Rain. So guys, this video is actually sponsored by Renewal Rain, and Renewal Rain makes mineral water, and they claim it's mineral water from the heavens. Kind of a play on words there. What's really cool though is this is a Christian company that is offering a mineral water for the consumer. And if you guys know on this channel, unashamedly Christian followers of Jesus, and it's really refreshing, especially in this industry and just in the environment that we live in today, where we see people who are companies that are really proud to stand on their faith and actually make a product that aligns with their moral values, that is something where it doesn't make other people who are believers or Christians feel guilty for a product that they're buying because of the ethics of that company. And so having a product from Renewal Rain, like this is the Psalm Squeeze Lemon Lime flavor, you can actually get this online and they actually will give you points, so you can kind of build up your points to be able to get another order for a lesser price or for free. But really, really cool. You know, the competitors out there also have some really weird practices and weird names, but it's just refreshing to see companies that are standing upon their faith, backing up their faith by what they do and with their actions and what they're putting out. And actually, this thing is really, really good. So I've actually enjoyed Renewal Rain quite a bit, and it's a really refreshing drink to have on the range, especially if you are into mineral water like myself. So 0 calories, 0 sugar, and all the benefits. So make sure you go check out Renewal Rain today. Now, the way that this thing attaches is it does have a reverse thread. So the more that you shoot it, the flow-through technology actually helps tighten that can more and more onto the muzzle device. So I'm running a flash hider QD, and it also has a taper mount system. So it has a reverse thread with a taper mount system. And what's really, really nice about the taper mount system is it makes the suppressor a lot more repeatable when it comes to my POI. So meaning, if I'm looking for a POI shift or a point of impact shift when I'm shooting a target, I will shoot the rifle with the suppressor on, I'll take the suppressor off, and then put the suppressor back on and shoot again and see if there's any shift in my group from my original 0, specifically if I zeroed with the can on. This had 0 POI shift, very, very repeatable, and the fact that it has a taper mount system is essentially it's like a tapered bevel on the actual QD device or the muzzle device, and allows the can to not overturn, and it goes to the exact same position every single time. Now, what's a lot of people, you know, so as far as the mounting system, really, really robust, really, really nice. The flash hider works really well at hiding flash. It doesn't get overpowered by shorter barreled rifles. So it does a really good job of mitigating and containing that signature when you have no suppressor on the gun. Now, one of the things that a lot of people ask is, hey, how's the signature under nods? How's the signature at night? Something that I have seen, you know, being in the industry for the time that I've been in it, not every suppressor is going to mitigate your signature. I've seen some suppressors, especially in our night vision class, will do actually a signature test, so that way people can see their rifle signature, their suppressor signature, and I've seen some suppressors that are pushing out a 5-foot long flame. And it's a 5.56 can, and it's pushing out a massive flame ball, and it's just not reducing. In fact, it's enhancing signature. They take the suppressor off, and then the flash hider is doing a better job of reducing the signature than the suppressor is. With these flow-through type cans, like an RC3, the Griffin Armor EcoFlow, the HUXWRX, you're seeing a lot more guys that are running a bleed-off type system at the front of the suppressor to kind of decrease some of that back pressure. You're going to see more of a sparky signature. Now, understand, when we did the RC2 video a while back, the RC2 from Surefire had the best signature reduction by far out of all of them. Not by a massive shot, but it just was the smallest. It looks like a little Bic lighter. The HUXWRX Flow 5.56K, and also this TI had a really, honestly, in comparison to a lot of other cans, a really decent signature reduction. It looks like it's kind of like vomiting sparks, but it's not a giant flame. So it kind of disperses that signature and that flash out through all the different vent holes where it looks like a sparky type of signature. And it's very similar to the type of signature we actually saw from the Griffin Armament cans with their EcoFlow system. Now, what's crazy is I actually, from my perspective, had less signature from the HUXWRX Flow 556 Ti than I did from the Surefire RC3. Could have been the system, could have been ammo, but from my perspective and what we were seeing, this actually had a lower signature reduction than the Surefire RC3. Now, the biggest thing is as we continue to shoot this and shoot more rounds through it, this is about 2,000 rounds through it, the more that we shoot this, my question is about the grooves filling in, because there's a lot of fine grooves inside of this 3D printed technology. And so my question was like, hey, as it starts to fill in with carbon, you know, is it going to start to lose some of those flow through aspects and those perks? And so HUXWRX has actually come out with a cleaning solution. So you can either clean it every 1,000 rounds with this, this compound that they have that you can actually give it like a soak. You put it in this, it's like this powder compound, and you soak your suppressor every 1,000 rounds and it gets rid of all that carbon, you just shoot the rest of it out. Or you can just CLP soak it and then let that sit and break the carbon off and then just shoot the carbon out. So there are ways to maintain this. There is a recommendation from the company to maintain your can, but you have flow-through technology, you have a very peculiar design, and it's gonna require a little bit more maintenance. But for me, as far as the give and take, you know, work that I need to put into maintaining this versus the benefits of the flow-through technology, the signature reduction, the sound reduction, it's almost worth it for me, man. Like it's one of those things where you can't have a perfect world, but this is a really impressive design that allows for some really impressive qualities and capabilities that you can have. Now, for those who are really wrapped around the dBs and the decibels on this, it does have, it doesn't exceed, it says the HUXWRX test rifle shall not exceed 140 decibels on a 10-shot average sound pressure level at shooting's ear during the barrel life. You can check that out more on their website. They do claim that this is also full auto rated and has a cross-platform compatible, could be used for a variety of calibers and rifle platforms. This one's a 5.56, but if you get the 7.62, then you can use different types of calibers with that to include 5.56. Now, what's really nice about this is that every HUXWRX suppressor, you'll see this on their QD device, on the muzzle device, and also on the suppressor, they actually have wrench flats. So you don't have to have some special tool or some weird way of trying to get this thing off if it gets carbon locked on there. All you gotta do is make sure you put a wrench, an adjustable wrench on there, or the wrench flat that they have, and you can actually crank this thing off. Remember, it's reverse thread, so you don't wanna super tighten that thing on. A way that any type of can that has a taper mount, make sure, even with like a Surefire can, make sure you're keeping maintenance done on your device. So making sure that your bezel or your taper mount portion is clean, there's not carbon buildup on it, and make sure that you're kind of constantly keeping that thing clean. If you don't want to have the suppressor locked on there, otherwise, no matter what, it's most likely going to get carbon locked on there. So I do that with all my muzzle devices now, because I have carbon locked suppressors on before, is I will actually maintain the muzzle device and just kind of take a brush to it and just really brush it off. As far as longevity goes, this HUXWRX can, obviously we'll do an update video as we get a higher round count on this thing, but the HUXWRX Flow 556 Ti has been really impressive. They have a ton of other cans that you can actually choose from for different calibers. You know, run HUXWRX cans for a while, exceeded our expectations that we already had, which were really good because of the Flow 556K. So my recommendation, if you're looking to get in a suppressor, maybe get one, maybe a 7.62 version, so that way you can run multiple calibers. If you already have suppressors, check out the 556 Ti. It won't let you down. It's been a really nice suppressor for us, and I'm super excited to see how it's going to perform in the future, and hopefully give you guys another update video on its performance as we increase the round count on it. Before I let you guys go, I want to talk to you about something that I've been struggling with and I've been dealing with, you know, and in light of recent events with things in our country, it's kind of given me some hope, but I have been dealing with a lot of stress and anxiety, specifically of things that are happening around the world and all the tensions here at home and just home life and the economy and trying to make ends meet and pay the bills and stuff with family. And so I know a lot of people out there are also struggling with this this trial as well, which is just being stressed out and anxious all the time. You know, I'm always, there's a lot of care programs out there trying to teach you how to be less stressed out, or take this substance or take this pill to be able to be less anxious. But the Bible has a perfect remedy and explains it really well in Luke chapter 12. And if you guys want to follow along, you can. But, you know, Jesus is talking to his disciples about specifically being anxious. And I felt like this passage is directly talking to me because it's what I'm going through right now. And so Jesus, he says to his disciples, this is in verse 22, "Therefore I tell you, do not be anxious about your life, what you will eat, nor about your body, what you will put on. For life is more than food, and the body more than clothing. Consider the ravens. They neither sow nor reap. They have neither storehouse nor barn, and yet God feeds them. Of how much more value are you than the birds? And which of you, by being anxious, can add a single hour to his span of life? If then you are not able to do as a small thing as that, why are you anxious about the rest? Consider the lilies, how they grow. They neither toil nor spin. Yet I tell you, even Solomon in all of his glory was not arrayed like one of these. But if God so clothes the grass, which is alive in the field today, and tomorrow is thrown into the oven, how much more will he clothe you, of little faith? And do not seek what you are to eat and what you are to drink, nor be worried. For all the nations of the world seek after these things, and your Father knows that you need them. Instead, seek his kingdom, and these things will be added to you. Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Sell your possessions and give to the needy. Provide yourselves with money bags that do not grow old, with a treasure in the heavens that does not fail, where no thief approaches and no moth destroys. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also." And that's something that really spoke to me, because I really get wrapped up sometimes in this life and thinking about like, oh, I need to do these things and the tasks that I have, and I get overwhelmed with my schedule, or I get overwhelmed with, you know, like, maybe I don't have this, or all of a sudden I find a gun project and I just start diving into it like, I just obsess over it, you know, and that's something I've been struggling with, and I get stressed out about it. I become anxious about things. I've had times where I wake my wife up and I'm like, I feel like I'm having a panic attack, you know, and I've never had these problems, but as the pressures of life increase and all of a sudden your mind starts to wander like mine has, it can really get you down. And eventually you just get buried under all this stress and anxiety. And guess what? Satan, the devil, he wants you to do that. He wants you to be stressed out. He hates you. He doesn't want you to have a good life. He wants you to be anxious, and he wants you to be miserable. And so he'll pile little things all the time, just making you like, hey, would you think about this? Or hey, man, you should feel guilty about this. Or hey, you didn't do that. And just stacking all these stresses upon you, where eventually you're like, I feel like I'm just being smashed, you know, the weight of this world and this life. And so we've seen a large amount of people who are, you know, making a really terrible mistake of taking their own lives, and so it's one of those things where God is telling us, don't be anxious. I care for you. I love you. I want to give you everything. And I think that's one of the things that's a really important reminder for all of us is remember that Christ loves you, man. Like, he literally, when he died on the cross, he was specifically thinking about you. He was specifically thinking about you and your life and the things and the relationship that he wants to have with you. And he's like, you are worth everything to me. And I don't want you to be anxious. I want to give you things. I want you to just take all your cares and worries and cast them upon me. I'll take care of them. Give me that rucksack full of weight of the world's stresses and anxieties, and I'll take that rucksack and just walk with me. I'll carry the load. And so for those who are, you know, dealing with a lot in life, I think it's such an important reminder to just, man, when you pray, man, talk to God. Just talk to him. He wants to have that conversation with you. He's just like, I have to just sit down and be like, Lord, I don't know why, but I just feel like I'm just getting buried. And all of a sudden, as I continue to pray and talk to him, I feel the weight come off my shoulders. I feel, wow, all right, I got some peace, like I got some joy, and it's not natural, but it's good and it's awesome, and it helps me to be able to refocus on things that are important in life and spend that valuable time with my family. So for those who are going through a hard time and you need a prayer request, put it in the comment section below. There's a ton of people in this community that would love to reach out and pray to you. If you would like to know who Jesus is and be like, hey, who is this God? I've heard about him all my life, but I don't really know him, and I'm curious to know more about him. You can actually download the Bible app for free and then email me at team@barrelhatchet.com. I'd love to talk to you and pray for you. So guys, for those who are, you know, struggling out there, make sure you talk to somebody. Make sure you pray to God and just ask him to help you with your stresses and anxieties. And remember that he loves you and he cares about you and he wants to give you everything, and he wants you to be full of joy and have joy to the fullest. So Guys, go out there, make sure you train to be the eternal asset. My name is Eric, and I'll see you on the next one.